I don't know how to tell this story because not many people will believe me. Or even if they do, they will be grossed out with this incident that happened with me and my roommate Tim. Tim and I shared an apartment in California. We worked in the same company, and he was the only cool guy in the boring IT sector. We used to go drinking and clubbing every weekend. One weekend, we decided to go on a short trip. Two bachelors planning to hit the town, hence, the obvious choice was Vegas. We boarded onto the flight, and when we checked into the hotel, it was last evening. The prime hours of Las Vegas were unraveling with glory. We freshened up and came out to the streets to have a fun night. Don't you just want to stay here forever? No wonder people go crazy about Vegas. Wherever our eyes went, we could see the bling. The neon lights were everywhere, be it a pub, a hotel, a casino, just everywhere. We planned to go to a casino and try some gambling, and then visit a strip club. I mean, yeah, we are in Las Vegas for the first time. What else do you expect? Tim pointed out a big casino right next to a huge water fountain. We sat down at our slot machines and started gambling. Both of us, surprisingly, started to win, so all our eyes were stuck to the screen. We must have played for half an hour straight when I noticed a man standing at some distance and watching us. Upon eye contact, I casually smiled at him. Receiving this gesture, the man suddenly got up and came to talk to us. His hair looked shiny like it had a lot of gel on it, and his clothes looked very expensive. He smiled, and I could see a pair of gold teeth shining in his gum. Care for a drink, gentlemen? Tim looked up hearing his voice and then looked at me with an awkward face. I replied, yeah, I could use a drink. Tim, what about you? Yeah, I'll drink too. We both got up so that we don't lose all the money that we luckily won. The man took us to the bar at the other side of the casino and ordered a martini for us. I had no idea who he was or what he did for a living. I was sure he is some rich dude capable of spending money on others. We started drinking the finest cocktails we probably had in our lives ever. I am Rupert Cardwell. This is my casino. This is your first time in Vegas? Yeah, sudden weekend trip. I see. So you two just want to spend your first night at Las Vegas gambling and drinking? What do you mean? I mean, don't you young fellows want to have some real fun? Tim and I exchanged looks, not having a clue what Rupert was talking about. Understanding our dilemma, Rupert grinned, flashing his gold teeth once again, and said, I have a fun allotment located in the basement. It's not for everyone, just some special customers. You can have drinks and meet some of my best girls. They know how to take care of young fellows like you guys, if you know what I mean. Tim and I realized he was talking about strippers, and honestly, it didn't come as a shock to us. We anyway planned to visit someplace like that, so we awkwardly smiled. So, what's the payment structure? No. I'm not a pimp, guys. You don't have to pay me. You just have to enjoy it. Have fun. That's all. Come on, follow me. Saying this, he started to walk towards the left side of the casino. I whispered to Tim, Is this happening? What if they try to rob us? What? He owns way more money than our families combined. Stop being so fussy about everything. You heard him. Let's enjoy. Like sore tooth aching in gum. Something at the back of my head kept telling me it wasn't a good idea to follow this guy. We stopped in front of a big wooden door that led to the basement of the casino. Opening the door with a weird smile, he said, Be my guests. Stairs went down, enlightened with red neon lights. Walking down, we reached a narrow hallway with a room on both sides. The man clapped twice, and the first door on our left opened. A girl with red curled hair and purple shiny eyes came out from that room. She was wearing night suits that revealed her figure perfectly. Needless to say, she flickered a fire in our hearts.
Welcome, darling.
She then knocked on the door on the opposite side and caked out to a girl named Sophia. Now, Sophia was even more beautiful than her. Her chocolate-covered skin with black long braided hair made her look like an enchantress from some exotic land. The red-headed woman pointed towards me and whispered something into Sophia's ears. They both chuckled enticingly, and then Sophia came to me.
Will you be my knight in shining armor?
What? I fumbled and couldn't speak. The red-headed woman then grabbed Tim's hand and went back to her room. Sophia did the same too. And Rupert smiled and left with a joyful face. I sat down nervously while Sophia gave me a glass of wine. I took one sip of it and it tasted awful. She came close to my face and said,
I'll be right back. Don't forget to finish your drink.
She went to the washroom. I didn't want to drink anymore, so I secretly emptied the glass on the plant kept at the table near her bed. Suddenly, the lights went off, and a red neon light lit up inside the room. The washroom door opened, and I saw Sophia walking to the bed and slowly lying on it. I couldn't see anything clearly as the weird red light blurred my drunk vision.
Come on, love me now.
I heard her enchanting voice one more time and lay on the bed to kiss her. I went to kiss her, but I got close. A foul smell choked my nose. The smell was of a strong chemical. I touched her cheeks and her face felt so dry and cold.
What happened? Kiss me.
But this time as she spoke, I realized her voice was coming from some distance. Like I was in bed with someone else and she was speaking on behalf of that person. Not realizing what the hell was going on, I looked up at the ceiling and saw a camera recording me. Getting all freaked out, I jumped from the bed and turned on the flashlight on my phone. What I saw made me vomit right away. Sophia was nowhere in the room, like she left from a secret door. Instead of her, there laid a dead, rotten corpse of a girl. The body was soaked in chemicals for preservation, which almost turned it into a mummy.
Turn off the light. You're ruining the mood for our audience.
What? What the hell is going on here?
Just do it. Make love with it like it's an actual girl. Mr. Rupert will pay you well, I promise.
So this is what they do? Record bizarre films based on necrophilia? And for that, they drug innocent young men and bring them here in this basement? I stormed out of the room and started yelling for Tim. Tim! Tim, we have to go now! I kicked the door open of that room where the red-headed woman took Tim to. And what I saw numbed my senses in one wink. Tim was kissing a corpse in some sick state of ecstasy. He had no idea it wasn't a real girl. I didn't have to guess that he drank the same drink that I was offered a few moments back. Tim! Stop it! Stop this filth! I ran towards him and started pulling him away from the corpse. He was out of his senses, but somehow I grabbed him and ran upstairs. I heard the red-headed woman yelling at Sophia.
I told you, never leave the room. I have other clients. I can't keep watch on everyone. Sorry, but it makes me disgusted to watch what they do here. I promise it won't happen again. Someone stop them!
My shirt was unbuttoned. Tim was only in his trousers. We stormed out of the basement and into the casino. Everyone looked at us like a pair of drunks who couldn't handle Vegas. But I didn't stop for anyone. I ran carrying Tim. Thank God he was slim back then. We came out of the casino and never looked back. I can't explain how we returned to our hotel. Tim vomited the entire night after having that weird drink, and I sat in the corner of the room, speechless and shocked. I don't think I will ever go back to Vegas. It wasn't about that Rupert guy or those two girls. What disgusts me the most is that they have a certain audience to enjoy such filth. Like, literally, humans making love to corpses. Bloody hell. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
My sister and I planned to do her bachelorette party in Las Vegas 2 days before her wedding. We come from a bit of a conservative family, so we had to lie to our parents about going to Vegas, though her then boyfriend David knew about our plan. My brother-in-law David is very open-minded, so all he said was to be safe and not go with random people, no matter how decent they appear. So, as planned, we reached Las Vegas by afternoon, went to our hotel, and freshened up. My sister booked us a spa and personalized beauty services. After 2 dreamy hours of self-care and love, when we came back to our room, it was almost close to party time. Like every other tourist, we too wanted to go to a club and have some fun. That's exactly what we did. The club we went to had drag queens performing on stage and girls dancing on poles as well. The environment was so exquisite and grooving that we got lost in all that dazzle. My sister was having tequila shots and clicking pictures with the drag queens. I was enjoying seeing her go all crazy. To be on the safe side, I only had a couple of beers so that I could be on my senses to take care of me and her at the same time. I was eating some barbecued chicken, sitting at the bar, when someone spoke from a close distance.
How come a woman like you sitting alone in a Las Vegas club?
Turning to my left, I saw a man standing tall and staring at me with a weird expression. His eyes were still, and he barely blinked. Seeing him staring at me with such a freaky gaze, I got my red flag number 1. Sorry, but do I know you?
Attitude, huh?
Excuse me?
I just complimented you. Why is it so hard to appreciate that?
Saying this, he sat down right beside me and ordered himself a drink. I realized he is a pushover and won't leave so easily unless I make him. I remembered my brother-in-law's warning very well, so I kept a straight face. Thanks, but excuse me.
Come on. Don't leave like this. Okay, I'm sorry for being rude. Can we at least talk? I promise. You will like me once you start to know me.
Let go of my hand.
What?
Move your filthy hand away from mine, sicko. Seeing me all charged up, the man immediately left my hand and got up from his seat. He grabbed the beer bottle from the counter and smiled at me in a very creepy way.
Hope you have a wonderful night ahead.
Saying this, he walked into the crowd, dancing in the middle of the club. I sat down, exhaling a deep breath. I was shaking inside, but felt proud that I had handled the situation like a tiger. I chugged the remaining beer to calm down my nerves. My eyes started searching for my sister so that we could call it a night and go back to our hotel. The lights and music were so loud that I could barely spot her amidst the crazy partying crowd. After getting shoved and pushed by dancing drunks, I was making my way to the other side of the club when I overheard a familiar conversation.
How come a woman like you sitting alone in a Las Vegas club?
Seems like my boyfriend forgot about me after meeting this stripper.
That's not good. He should appreciate beauty like you.
Really? Turning in the direction from where the voices were coming, I saw that same creepy man talking to another girl who was sitting all by herself. He was giving those same cheesy pickup lines, but unlike me, the girl was too drunk to stop herself from stepping in his trap. She was laughing with that freak, not knowing his reality. I looked at the dance floor and saw my sister getting wasted. I wanted to take her back to the hotel, but I was worried about this other girl too. My instincts told me that this guy was way more evil than a casual flirt. Slowly, the guy got up, taking the girl in his arms. They intended to leave when he saw me watching him. He gave a filthy grin on his way to the exit. I might have let the matter go, but then I noticed something, and my blood turned cold. As the guy turned his back toward me, I saw a small pistol peeking from his back pocket. Holy shit. He has a gun. Where the hell is he taking this girl? I called out loud to the girl, but my voice didn't reach her. Not having any other option, I ran to my sister and started yelling out of panic. Emma, that man! He's going to kill her. Please, we have to save her. Emma? What? What are you saying? Jenny, why do you have 2 noses and 4 eyes? Double trouble. Shit! You're drunk as a skunk. I grabbed her hand and started pulling her. We left the club, and I looked around for that girl, but I couldn't see anyone. Meanwhile, Emma was stumbling with each step she took. Suddenly, I noticed this parking lot and felt the urge to check it out. I grabbed my sister's hand and walked to the empty parking lot. There was a series of cars residing in that dark, stranded place. My eyes kept searching for the girl. Emma tagged along, not knowing what was happening. We were almost in the middle of the parking lot when I heard a low, sobbing voice. I followed the sound and saw that man tying up that drunk girl's hands and feet. She was laying on the ground, covered in dirt. Her one eye was heavily swollen that resulted from a punch. She was bleeding from her lips, too. That crazy psycho must have beaten her when she tried to get away. I knew if I didn't tread carefully, this guy could shoot all 3 of us and escape easily. Seeing this incident, Emma realized the gravity of the situation. Her face turned pale, and I understood that she was about to freak out and make things worse. I pulled her behind a car and told her, I have to save the girl. You hide here and call 911. Whatever you do, don't make any noise. Oh, okay. I tiptoed toward the man who started unbuttoning his shirt while saying vile things to the girl he was planning to assault.
You know, it wouldn't have been you if that first bitch agreed with me. So once I'm done and you wonder in the hospital bed why this happened to you tonight, blame that bitch. If only she agreed to come with me, I wouldn't have approached you, my love.
Tears rolled down my cheek hearing his sick words. The girl's mouth was taped too, so she could only sob silently. It seemed like this man came all prepared. He started unbuttoning his pants, and this was the exact moment I was waiting for. Once he took off his trousers and placed them aside, I jumped and grabbed the gun without giving him a second chance. He turned around and saw me pointing the gun at him. I will never forget the way his face changed. A fear curled up into his eyes once he realized he is the target now.
Come on, you won't shoot me. Okay, I'll let her go. Just put the gun down, okay?
How long have you been doing this, huh? Tell me.
Don't try to act smart. Sluts like you never live long.
Saying this, he licked his lips and grinned at me once again. I don't know what happened next. Maybe his obscene words triggered something in me. I pointed at his left kneecap and shot him without answering back. He collapsed on the ground and flesh and blood splattered from his leg. You will remember my face for the rest of your limping, pathetic life. He passed out in terrible pain, and I heard my sister vomiting behind me, seeing the gore. The cops came within a few minutes and arrested the man. The girl's boyfriend took her home, and we too called it a night. I am sure this man is a long-time offender. He probably picked up drunk girls from these Las Vegas clubs and molested them in every possible way. Whenever the topic of my sister's bachelorette party comes up, my family praises me like a hero. Honestly, I'm proud of myself too. You can defend yourself with a calm mind, even if the enemy appears to be stronger than you. Just remember that. For 10 years now, Every time the calendar marks March 14th, I start crying inconsolably. My name is Samantha, and I am 35 years old. This very day, a decade ago, was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but instead, it turned into a nightmare that I relive every year and can't seem to wake up. The day started in my ex-boyfriend Lucas's old car. Hours earlier, we had fought with my entire family, who had kicked him out of my house and tried to convince me how bad he was for me. That same day, Lucas had shown up at my house in the wee hours of the morning, asking me to marry him in Las Vegas, telling me to grab all my stuff, quit my job, and start a new life together. It wasn't the dream life I imagined, but I thought it was a great gesture on his part that contradicted all the horrible things my family told me about him. Tell me, what made you do this? I'm not gonna lie, I was beginning to think you didn't care about me.
Hey, how can you say that? You mean the world to me. I was just a little uncomfortable with your family wanting to keep us apart at all times.
Are we going to be okay, Lucas? I said, doubtfully.
Of course, my love. Everything is going to be fine. Just trust me. From now on, we are both going to be very happy.
As soon as he finished talking, I grabbed his hand and smiled for the rest of the trip. Once we arrived in Las Vegas, we went to a hotel and left our things. I went to shower and get ready for the big occasion, but Lucas suggested that we go gamble first and then get married that night. I innocently agreed. What could go wrong with a little fun? The first time I really got upset was at the casino. I wanted to play with Lucas, but he sent me to go on my own.
Why don't you just play with the slot machines? I get luckier when I am by myself,
he told me after giving me a few coins. I frowned at him and left. I didn't want to fight with him on our wedding day either, so I let it slide. At least he had given me coins. It was the first time he gave me something. I played for a few minutes, but I was not in a good mood. I was getting married that day. I wanted to be with my boyfriend. I turned around and went to Lucas. He had no right to leave me alone after everything I went through to be with him. I went to the blackjack table, and to my surprise, he wasn't there. I started to look around the casino. He was nowhere to be found. After looking for him a while longer, I found him in the least expected place. He was heading toward the exit without me. I went after him, but it was too late. He accelerated his car toward the hotel without me. Furious, I took a cab and arrived a few minutes after him, and when I opened the door, he was packing his things.
What the hell are you doing?
I shouted angrily.
You're leaving without me.
Oh, dear. What are you doing here? Let me explain. I was just about to come back and get you.
Oh, yes, of course. That's why you're packing all your things, isn't it? I looked at his luggage, and there were not only his things, but also some of my most valuable things. I peeked into my suitcase, and it was open and messy. As I was inspecting my things, I found something familiar under the bed. It was the box where I keep my savings, completely empty.
You sick fuck! Did you steal from me? Where are my college savings?
Lucas was frozen with fear.
We use them to gamble, but after we win, I was going to give them back to you. You have to believe me.
This had gone too far. I was furious. I started to process all the things I was going to yell at him, but I was interrupted by a door slamming. 3 men entered our hotel and rushed toward us.
Who are you? What are they doing in our room?
I shouted in desperation.
What a long trip you made us take, Lucas. Did you think you could escape from your problems? I only came here to collect money to pay you, I swear.
What?
While I was still confused, one of the men came up to me and put something in my face. When I breathed it in, all I saw was white, and I fell asleep. When I woke up a few minutes later, I was in the desert. It was already very dark and very cold. I couldn't move. I was kneeling in the sand, gagged. Next to me was Lucas.
I'll pay you back, I swear. Why do you think I came here? I could have escaped, and I didn't. Oh yeah, you definitely did. Otherwise, you would have told us. Don't you think? Besides, your time expired, Lucas. We were very patient. We even gave you an extension. At this point, we know you're never gonna pay your debts. So, the boss decided that you're gonna pay it in blood. No. There's gotta be a way to fix this. You can take her. Use her as a prostitute. Sell her organs or something. That would be enough, right?
I looked at him in terror. He already knew I was awake, but he didn't care and kept looking at the thugs.
You can't talk your way out of this. We've heard you more than enough. And to be honest, I never liked your voice.
With that said, the man fetched metal bats from the trunk and began to beat him. Lucas screamed at the top of his lungs, but we were in the desert. No one could hear him. During the whole beating, I went to the car and cut the tape with a metal piece of the car, so I managed to free myself. I got into the car in despair, and to my luck, the keys were inside. The men saw me, but only one went to stop me. The sturdy man put his hands through the window and choked me, while the others continued to beat Lucas savagely. With great effort, I managed to close the window, trapping the hands of my assailant, who managed to pull it out. One of the gangsters who were beating Lucas saw me, and, as if in response to my escape, he gave Lucas a strong blow to the head, tearing off a piece of his forehead and sending it flying. The man who was choking me kicked the car, a little frustrated. I started the car and accelerated. The mobsters didn't try to stop me. They just went back to beating Lucas. I told the police everything that happened, and soon after, I took them to where everything happened. Lucas was no longer there, but there was still blood in the sand, and when the police found a well and a dead body a few minutes later, I hardly needed to identify him. His body was unrecognizable. It was clear that they had really taken it out on him. I didn't want to stay a minute longer than necessary. I just wanted to go back to my family. I couldn't believe that everything that man had told me was a lie. He even tried to sell me out to save his own skin. It took me years to trust another man again. After a while, I met Ethan, my current husband. And, well, let's just say that when we decided to get married, Las Vegas was out of the question.